Man, what a game, guys, huh? Crazy. We're going to be joined by William Cooper here as well. He's going to be jumping on here in just a second. But man, what
Yeah.
a freaking end of the game. You know what's wild, Matt? So what we talked about at the halftime report, I said we need to what the Bengals need to do is they need to come out, they need to get a score. They did that instantly. And then I said they need to get out a turnover and then get some points out of it, which they got the field goal. And then they
Yeah.
came out and they did make it. They made it really tough for the Rams to get out of that hole, and it was just 7 points, but sorry, 4 point difference. But what a heck of an end of the game, man. Really good game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, for a while there I really thought the Bengals were going to pull that out. And but the Rams got in there at the right time and they scored. And the Bengals technically the Bengals had enough time at the end to either win that game or at least tie it, send it overtime. And they started out pretty good, but they got to borrow, and that's all they needed. They just had to stop them, and that was it. And the game was theirs. So, job well done to the Rams. The thing I would say is, I think the biggest thing is, let's just talk about Matthew Stafford, how far he's come. Like we were saying before, like, this dude's now a Super Bowl champion. Think about all those years he spent in Detroit, right? Miserable. He goes to LA, wins the Super Bowl. I mean, that's got to be a huge weight off his shoulders at this point. Huge weight off his shoulders.
Yeah, before we get into other stuff in the games, I know there's some comments here about the officiating at the end. I think I jinxed it, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. But yeah, man, I mean, it was huge for him. He threw the 2 picks, but still had a really good game other than that. But it's huge for his legacy as a player. I think this brings him into a Hall of Fame conversation. It was a really good game. I'm a huge Matt Stafford fan. I was rooting for the Bengals because of the cigar side of it. But I've been watching the Lions for the last 12 years, and I've always really enjoyed watching him play. So it was great to watch him finally get a Super Bowl, and McVay as well. And I think they're going to have some challenges next year bringing the team back for salary cap things. But a win's a win, and there's a lot of stuff you can do. And this is going to, Rams are going to be another good team next year, and the Bengals are going to be fantastic next year. It was kind of unfortunate at the end. I made the comment right before all the flags started coming at the end, how the officiating crew had really left the flags away, and how it was a great game. The flow of it was excellent. Then there was a ton of flags at the end of the game of things they weren't calling the whole game. So it was unfortunate to have that. I don't think the refs changed the game by any means, but it was unfortunate to have a bunch of penalties there at the end that gave the Rams like 18 first down tries within the 5-yard line in. So that was interesting. But who do you got? Who do you have as the MVP of this game?
I think it's. We talked about this before. I think it's Cooper Kupp. If it's not.
If it's not Cup, it's Stafford. It's Stafford.
Yeah,
But
Stafford.
Cup won that game, man. That last drive at the end of the game there, Cup had like
You,
4 or 5 catches. He had some key blocks. He had that run that extended it, extended the drive. And I think he's the MVP. There's some people in here, Aaron Donald. He played a really good game. But
that's what I was gonna say.
but
Yeah,
Cup's
I was gonna say
impact,
Donald, if not the
Cup's
other two.
impact there at that last drive of the game was unmatched, and he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I agree. He really went out there and earned his money. He played
Yeah.
hard. He played good. Even going into this game, he was already a candidate for MVP. I mean, the way he's played thus far. I think that that Rams team is very good. This team, I think, was built to win a championship, and it's paid off for them. Having said that, in terms of the Bengals, they lost, but they played well, and they kept up with the Rams. The game was close. I think it was a very good game. They got potential for the future, and even if they don't, at least Joe Burrow does.
Mhm.
I mean, I think going forward, they'll have their time. I do. I think the Rams, they've been here before. They lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots. They had their few years, kind of get back on top. they earn their time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Bengals, this is kind of the first year where like, oh wow, and like they made it to a Super Bowl. They have their potential, and I think in a few more years, you could still see them win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where the Rams have been. So the Rams they saw this was their redemption shot, especially for Sean McVay, as the coach. Because last time the Rams went, they were with Jared Goff. So Sean McVay making his second trip within a few years definitely redeemed himself on this one.
Mm-hmm. A couple other things that were interesting in the game for me, things at the end. The Joe Burrow obviously got hurt. There was injuries. His knee was obviously bothering him. He was a little timid at the end. One of the questions that was on here is why not run the ball at the end? Why pass on 4th and 1? He lost some mobility when he tweaked his knee there. That little injury was not a minor. I don't think he tore his knee apart or anything, but I would think over the next couple of days you might see some stuff come where
he's in pain.
You could tell just on him throwing.
Yeah.
His left knee, and he kept his leg
He's
up.
in pain.
You saw that pass he threw out to Jamar Chase where he made a great catch on the sideline and gained like 15, 20 yards. That ball got a little bit away from him, and I think that was part of the decision making on that shotgun. I think what you probably would have seen on a normal 4th and 1 might have been a quarterback draw up the middle, but he just didn't feel comfortable. You could tell he did not feel comfortable running.
Yeah, and then his balance is off. In that stance, you're throwing the ball, your balance is off. You don't have your full strength in your knee. Your confidence isn't there in the strength of your knee, and that mental toughness then comes into play. So there's like a domino effect. Once you lose that, other things begin to fall, and then that affects the way you're going to throw the ball, play the game, the way you're going to run. You're not going to run because of that. Mm-hmm. Like you said, more timid. That's going to shake you.
And I will say, I know we got a comment up on here from Mark. The Bengals' offense is loaded, just need to upgrade on line. Certainly need an upgrade on the line, but the offensive line certainly outplayed themselves today. And obviously, there was a play made at the end. Donald played real well at the end. The defense made the stops they need to make, but I was impressed with how well the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line did play. If this was if the offensive line played the way they did 3-4 weeks ago, there would have been like 87 sacks in the game. They really turned it around. They had a great scheme. You could tell that they really were focused on what they were doing. So it was nice to see that. However, the Bengals do need a significant upgrade on the offensive line for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said before, they made it to the Super Bowl and they played well enough. There's things they can work on, make some changes, a little bit more development with Burrow and some of the other younger players too. And they have the potential to tweak this team to win a Super Bowl, no doubt.
Yeah, I had the TV up here, but I pulled it off. So I haven't seen. I don't think they've announced the MVP yet, but I'm going Cooper Kupp. I think that's what I'm going with. And he said that last drive of the game, he was the guy. And honestly, I think one of the unsung heroes of the game, to be truly honest, was that tight end that came in, Hopkins. He only had like 1 or 2 catches throughout the season. He had 3 or 4 tonight that were key plays for them, for the Rams. He played excellent. There's an unsung little hero there, to be honest. And then Kupp was Cooper Kupp at the end of the day, and Stafford made the plays he needed to make at the end. And by the way, he got a little knocked around today too. It was just a hard hit game, lots of stuff. Thank you guys, appreciate you coming. It was, but
Stafford went down too. He was on the table.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's definitely definitely some injury on both sides too.
So, update on the chili contest. I won.
You won?
I won the golden spoon.
Why is it when I hear you say that, I think to that episode of The Office when Dwight has the whole hay thing and then he crowns himself the Hay King?
Well,
I feel like you like
voted for it. They voted for it. They voted for this.
How did they vote for it?
They had little cards and they put their favorite chili on it, and then put it in a little football that we had, like a football crock pot, and we had a unbiased third party do the counting for us, and my chili won. I did a yak and ground bison, so ground bison, ground yak chili. It was super lean, delicious, mild on the spice, but real clean on the finish, and it was good. So yeah, I won the Golden Spoon.
And I'm hearing from Mark here. It looks like Cooper Kupp did win the MVP.
Cup did win. Yep, deserved.
Yeah.
Speaking of Coopers, is William Cooper joining us?
I know. Is he? Where is he?
I'm here.
Oh, you're here.
He's not on.
Oh, perfect.
He's not
We
on
don't
the
have
show.
any image. We don't have your. We don't
I
have
see
your
him.
beautiful face
I see him.
on Skype.
Can you guys not hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you. I just
hear
can't
him and
see
see
you.
him. He's got his LFD hat on. He's
Yeah.
He's at the black stage in
I
Indian
can't
Trail,
see
North
him.
Carolina.
I can't see him.
That's weird. I see him.
Well, Coop, what'd you think of the game?
You made a point. First of all, I thought this, I thought this game was going to be a blowout. I thought that I was not giving any chance to the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. They showed up to play, and you made a key point. The offensive line was playing better than I've seen them play all year, especially in the first half. Second half, it came down a little bit, but they were still playing really well. And like I said, I never expected them to be in this game in the fourth quarter.
It was surprising. By the way, we talked about some of the bets that were on there, and one of them was the over/under. I think they were under by like 1 point.
Isn't it amazing how this goes? Because it was like 46, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking. We all thought it was going to be over when we were doing the pregame show.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are just really weird how they work out sometimes. These odds makers. And what was the line? The line I think was like 4.5 as well.
Yeah, it was almost. By the way, it was almost spot on.
Yeah.
Does anybody know? Even people that are watching, there was this guy. He's like Furniture Mac or something. He's out of Texas. He had something like $9 million on the line. I think he bet for the Bengals, and he owns a furniture store. So he's going to be giving away a lot of free furniture, from my understanding. So I just saw that a couple days ago. So he lost on that. That was one of the bigger bets.
The people are complaining they can't see Coop.
Yeah, well, I put the Coop logo over it. I don't know what else to do. So Coop's there. I can put his face on here. I can pull up a logo of his face and throw it on there if you want me to.
That's too bad. I don't know what happened.
All right. I'm going to try exiting the camera and entering again.
Okay. But yeah, Cooper
How's
Kupp
that?
MVP. No.
What a shame.
Why don't you log out and then log back in?
Sit, smoke,
Okay,
and chill.
can
Have you tried starting and restarting your router?
I could try. Will the URL let me back in?
Yes.
The same
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
By the way,
Okay.
I'm searching for photos of people named William Cooper online. I've got some good ones if he doesn't pop up, so here we go.
I gotta do this now too.
Yeah, there's some great William Cooper shots. Not even of our friend William Cooper, just other William Coopers. So here comes the first run. Oh, here we go. When he comes back in.
Milton William Cooper.
This is the William Cooper that I have here. Don't know much about him. Just took his picture, and hopefully nobody gets sued for this.
The William Cooper MD.
I'm back.
Well, we have a William Cooper on the screen representing you. So
All right.
yeah,
I'm
so there you
back,
go.
though, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm back. I just went in the same way.
Yeah.
I
Well,
see me here.
All right. Do you see the new William Cooper?
I don't see it here.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
I
on the
see it on
broadcast.
Facebook.
Well, you are here, and we have someone
Yeah.
in a stand-in for you.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. Good-looking guy. I think the biggest thing for me in the game that stood out was Jamar Chase definitely won the battle against Jalen Ramsey. I know that was
Yes.
a contested part because of the face mask that wasn't called, but man, Jamar Chase is an absolute stud of an athlete. That guy's good.
I mean, the Rams are star-studded. You know.
Yeah.
all around.
The Rams should have won this football game. They were built to win this game. They were. This team was built to win. And I think when we were talking, John, I kept saying that ultimately Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp was going to be the key to this whole game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt that combination was going to be something that took them over the top. Now, the other thing, I don't know if you guys talked about it, and I apologize I couldn't get into the halftime show. Did you guys talk about how the Rams tried to run the ball early on?
Well, we
It
didn't
seemed like they were trying to run that ball early on.
Yeah, they were, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
They just couldn't run the ball, and Chris Collinsworth
Right.
made a really interesting reference to that towards the end of the game. He said it would be really nice if they could just turn around and hand the ball off and run it in the end zone on the 1 yard line. They just
Yeah.
couldn't. They couldn't
Yeah.
go anywhere. That defensive line from the Bengals was just a wall, and honestly, the offensive line. They did well on the passing game, but that Rams offensive line did not play that well. If they had blocked better on the run, they would have controlled the tempo of the game. Where there was really not, I said the tempo was back and forth. It was not one-sided one way. It was really a back and forth game, and it was because of that offensive
What did you guys?
line.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. What do you think about when Stafford had the injury? Was it do you think it was worse than they made it out to be or not? I kind of couldn't get a good read on how when he was out of the game for that short time.
I thought Burrows was worse than they were letting on, and you could see it in the game.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought too.
Stafford was moving around okay. I mean, obviously he was tweaked, but I thought the Burrow one was noticeably different. And the thing I referenced was that out pattern that they threw to Jamar Chase that kind of got away from him a little bit, and Chase extended and grabbed the ball, but that flew a little bit, and that was because his front left leg, was just up. Everything was on his back leg.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. You can't take anything away from Cincinnati though. Here, they played. I mean, they came within a minute of winning the Super Bowl, and I think if you were at the start of the season, no one would have thought that. And I heard you guys in your preamble comments. They have nothing but to build on. They could try to boost up that offensive line. They got that offense is going to have another year to mature. So I think the future is bright for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I mean they're great. Their offense is ridiculous. Their receiving core is out of control.
Yeah.
Boyd, Higgins, Chase, Mixon's ridiculous. P. good. I mean, the team's excellent. If they can find a way to, and by the way, they don't have a lot of money tied up in these guys because Burrow's cheap right now and Chase is cheap right now in comparison. And so they don't have a lot of money tied up, so they can really go out and get those pieces, keep some of that, keep that defense together as best as possible, and just get an offensive line. And the confidence they're going to have coming out of this, excuse me, is going to be huge. I mean, the expectations of that team next year are going to be Super Bowl or bust, in my opinion.
I think it's going to be hard to get back to the Super Bowl for them next year, but I think they'll be a team that's going to contend for several years.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard sometimes coming off a Super Bowl loss. It's harder than coming off the Super Bowl win. So I'm really curious to see how they handle it. I'm curious to see if Mike Brown, opens up the purse strings a bit and, lets them bring in some free agents that they're going to need. On the other hand, I think the Rams are, they did what they have to do. They're going to next year. Window is going to be very tight for that team. This is a win now team, and this is they want more than one championship out of this, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which brings up an interesting point. Are the Rams the favorite next year?
I mean, based on everyone who's out there, everyone who retired at the end of this year, and all those people being out, Aaron Rodgers, I think, is fucking done. He's wrapped up with so much shit that he's got going on, and with Green Bay, whether he stays or not, I don't know. I think if Russell Wilson was traded to the right team, maybe. If Aaron was traded to the right team, maybe. Bengals are looking good. Chiefs, I don't think the Chiefs are completely done with the progress that they've had. They had a Super Bowl and they lost the Super Bowl. AFC Championship this year, AFC Championship 4 years ago against the Patriots. Was it 4 years ago? 5 years ago? I mean, they've been playing pretty well overall. I would say next year I think they might be good. They might have a good chance, but we'll see what happens after that. Rams, yeah, I mean Rams definitely good. I mean, if most of these guys come back, they get the similar roster. Sure, I could see them being favorites to win.
Yeah,
they seem to play so well together as a team too, and they're just so put together well. And I think so.
I go my favorites. I honestly go straight up what happened in the game. I think Vegas may do the same thing. Number one's going to be the Rams, 2 Bengals. I think they'll be number 2. I don't know if it'll play out that way, but favorites went before the season starting with just minutes after the season ending. I think you see the number 1 and 2 favorites for next year just by what we saw on the field tonight. I think you're right on the Aaron Rodgers thing. He's obviously going to be great, but I don't see that really going anywhere. There's a lot of uphill battles for him. And then the Bill. So you got the Bills and then the Chiefs. So you got Rams, Bengals, Bills, Chiefs. You can interchange any of those, in my opinion.
I was just gonna say, let's not forget about the Bills too. Bills, I think, they still have potential to go all the way.
Oh yeah.
Dare I say this? The Cowboys.
I'd put them probably number 5, top 5, right?
I think they're still top 5. Look, I think they're still top 5.
I'll give it to them.
I don't think they're a favorite to go to a Super Bowl, but look, they still got talent and they still play in a division where they can win 6 games.
Yep, I think so. They played pretty well this year. I mean, other than that, I'm trying to think of what other teams could even maybe pop up for next year, just kind of based on.
The Titans maybe. Do the Browns bounce back?
I don't know about the Browns.
I mean, I'm just saying, do they bounce back? Do the Eagles get better? I mean, those are. I think Arizona and San Francisco are heading for big changes. There's problems with. San Francisco's going to make a quarterback change. They're going to go to Trey Lance. Who knows what's going to happen with the quarterback situation in Arizona right now? So I don't see those teams being a factor.
Jay mentioned too potentially Baltimore, but I don't put Baltimore in the top 5 that we mentioned. They're outside of it.
No.
That tier of team. I don't know. Are they going to beat the Bills? No. Are they going to beat the Chiefs? I don't think so. Are they going to beat the Bengals? Maybe. I don't know. But that's a maybe. They're definitely. If you go head to head with the Rams, I don't see that. Obviously, different division, a conference. But I mean, for me, it really breaks down to those top 4 teams. I think that's what it's going to be, and then we're going to find out early if the Bengals make the moves they need to make. I think we're going to find out if they're going to be a contender right on. But yeah, coming out of the gate, I think Rams are going to be the favorite. You're going to see Bills top 5 and Bengals 2 and Chiefs probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think that if we switch the conversation to what teams are definitely going to go through a strong rebuild in the next few years, let's see. We can start with the Saints. I think they have some work to do.
What a terrible coaching hire, by the way. I didn't even get into that on 8. God, I mean, that's an awful hire.
Go ahead, John.
Well, the way the Saints hired, it makes me really think that they had no idea Sean Payton was going to be like, hey, I'm done.
Oh, I agree.
I'm pretty sure that really, even if there were some rumblings or discussions, just the way it went down, and he seemed to have control of that whole situation when the press conferences went on and everything like that. I mean, I think that probably caught them off guard, and it was. I think that team may be a mess next year.
Yeah, I think so.
But their division's not that great either. I mean, Tampa's going to be. Who knows what's going to happen in Tampa? The Falcons are always a disaster. Who else is in that division?
the Panthers, who now are going to have the offense run by Ben McAdoo.
Yeah, and they're a mess. So like that, the whole
They're a
division is
real
going to be
mess.
just a mess. They're going to be like the NFC East. Like they're going to be the new, it's going to be what happened 3 or 4 years ago, where like a team might make the playoffs with a 500 or losing record, in my opinion.
It's true.
And then we got David here that says the Bears are going to go all the way.
He must
Sure
be.
they-
He must be. He must
sure
be. He
they
must
are.
be drinking a lot. He must
Sure
be
they
drinking a
are.
lot tonight.
Sure they are. Hey,
Yeah,
one Midwestern team like the Bengals gets in, and then all the Bear fans are like, well, if the Bengals can do it, the Bears can do it. No,
Yeah, I
they
don't know
can't.
about that. No.
But isn't that just tells you the state of like the New York Giants, right? Because think about it, the Bengals were worse than the Giants a couple of years ago, right? And they came a minute away from winning a Super Bowl, and we're in the basement again with another rebuild in process.
Yep.
So it just shows you. I mean, it's unbelievable when you look at the job that Zach Taylor did with that team this year, and Joe Burrow, certainly leading that team.
Incredible. And they mentioned that on the broadcast. What Taylor said, it was 2 years ago. They were, they won like 6 games, and he'd said like he was fortunate that the ownership gave him a chance to continue on and do what he was doing. And then he was also fortunate that he got to draft Joe Burrow and then Jamar Chase back to back too, which that didn't hurt one way or the other. That would be great. That's a great make a mediocre coach look good. So that's a really fortunate situation when you suck and you can make good decisions. Now it just shows you how many teams suck and then they continue to make bad decisions.
Boomer Esiason, who played for the Bengals, he knows the organization well. He's a radio host in New York. He's talked a lot about that comment about the stability. You could say what you want, but coaches, that's a very desirable job for a head coach because you have an owner who gives some. Most of the coaches have been there a minimum of 5 years to begin with. So, it's a nice thing to know that, hey, it's the owner's going to have some confidence in you with that. And, Zach Taylor started out 0-11, keep it in mind, too. That would have got him fired in most jobs at the end of the year. So, they executed some patience, and I think they, obviously it paid off for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this for me was a really fun Super Bowl. Coop's back, and we got no Matthew Tobacco.
What? Hold on.
So, for me, it was a great Super Bowl. One, I didn't have to be stressed about it because I said I had no skin in the game. I technically never have any skin in the game, but obviously, being a Brady fan and a Patriots fan, those are stressful games. But I thought this was an awesome game. 23-20 is a great game. It was not out of control the whole time. The refs put the flags away until the end of the game. It was a blast. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was a really good production. I thought it looked really good for the NFL. The NFL looked great throughout all of this. This was a big win for them back-to-back years, having them hosted in the host cities and having the host teams actually in the Super Bowl and winning. This was big for the NFL. This was the brand got very strong with this game, and the next generation of the league, which is now is it's in good hands.
Yeah, I'll say this. I know you guys were doing your show at halftime. Part of what I needed to do is for Jukebox, our music show, I did need to watch this halftime show. And I can tell you the NFL did a very, very good job with that halftime show. It was a good production. If you're a hip-hop fan, it's not going to convert you into a hip-hop fan. But say what you want, the NFL delivered a world-class halftime show. And they have a lot to be happy about with that. Because they've had some disasters with some of these over the years.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the show, but I'm definitely going to check it out tonight. I'm sure it's already online. I'm going to check that out. I think the only thing we really haven't touched upon is the commercials. Underwhelming, as always.
Yes, agree. And it was more so this year. Yeah,
it was very underwhelming. But what out of the ones that you saw caught your eye?
Well, go ahead, Matt. You go first.
I was just going to say, for me, it's just all about what I remembered. If I didn't remember it, it's because it wasn't memorable. That being said, that doesn't mean it was a good commercial. It's something about it made me remember. First thing that comes to mind, the Sopranos one. I thought that was awesome.
That was the one.
I love that one. Then there was the one which I forget what it was even for, but was that Arnold Schwarzenegger as Zeus?
Yeah, it was BM
Yeah.
it was BMW. It was a BMW
Oh,
electric
yeah,
car.
that's
right.
Right? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
But the
So there
only
was
thing about that got me was I'd seen that one. They'd released that prior. So I had seen that before, and it was really good commercial. I liked the one with Larry David. I thought that was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
clever. And then the one with Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost with the Alexa was really good. The only thing that was scary about that was it was actually a little bit too real. Like I could definitely think of Alexa very near future answering questions that shouldn't be answered, and it just showed that she's always listening. So that was a little creepy, but I thought that was a pretty clever commercial. They had the part where Colin Jost is sitting there on their couch, and he's like, "Hey, babe," he's like, these sex scenes, these love scenes with these good-looking guys and stuff. He's like, they must be really awkward, right? And she was like, "Oh yeah, they're so awkward." And it started playing Liar song. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah.
But Larry David was good. The Sopranos one was excellent. But yeah, definitely underwhelming, and it was underwhelming in the first quarter. The high rating spots were very underwhelming. The Coinbase one was kind of cool with the QR code, but NBC took advantage of that first, I think, 15 minutes of commercials, and it was really NBC driven because they had the Jurassic Park, NBC Universal movie premiere, which was interesting, and then they had some Peacock ads, so it was really NBC heavy, which is fine. I mean, it was that network, but maybe people didn't buy those expensive spots right off, and went to the next tier down, and they filled it up with NBC.
There was another commercial, but I believe it was on before the Super Bowl. It was the Manning Brothers one with Jerome Bettis. Did you see that one?
Yeah, it was good.
It was good, except Bradshaw ruined the whole. Terry Bradshaw just completely ruined that commercial.
You know, another one that
He's
was
such
good.
a clown. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. The other one was good. Was the Eugene Levy one?
Yes.
Was good with the Nissan commercial. That was star-studded. That was entertaining. Eugene Levy's good, and I thought that was pretty clever.
Hey, he'll always be Jim's dad.
Yeah, true. But yeah, underwhelming commercial run, but still some decent stuff out of it. But we'll get wrapped up here in a bit, so we can. I got to clean up my party here. But any final thoughts on the game as we end the season? It was a great year. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good year for the NFL, and like I said, we talked about. I think these were incredible playoffs. It ended with an incredible. I was worried this wasn't going to be a very good Super Bowl. I was thinking it would be a throwback to the 90s. I'm glad I was wrong on that part. I'm glad it was a good game. Like I said, it was two different teams. Which I know you guys are Patriot fans and Brady fans. I understand that, but for guys who aren't, it was two different teams to go see. I think it was great to have a Super Bowl back in Los Angeles as well. Say we want about Los Angeles, it's still one of our biggest cities in the country. So I think overall, good halftime show. And like I said, it's funny that we're going to be right into talking about free agents in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So the NFL season just keeps going on.
Yep. Matt?
I would echo what Coop said. Also, as always, go Patriots. I mean, I think, we've already kind of talked about what teams to watch for next year and what teams not to watch. So there's that. It was a good Super Bowl. I think it was the season as a whole. I thought it was good. I thought just as a whole in its entirety, I feel like this season was much better than the last couple of seasons, regardless of who won the Super Bowl and all that. Just at its core, the season was good. The season went pretty well. The playoffs were. I don't think for me the playoffs were not what I thought they were going to be. So looking back, it made it more fun. It was not. I don't think this playoff season was what most people suspected it to be. I think there was some surprises there, and it made it so much more fun because you're like, oh wow, good season. That's all I got. Good season, good playoffs, good Super Bowl, and I just hope for the NFL, I hope that just continues.
Yeah, for me, we wrapped up as fans of the game, one of the better postseasons in recent memory. The Super Bowl didn't disappoint; it was the same way, and I think what really showed here was the extra game at the end of the season. The 17-game schedule was a win for the NFL. The 2 extra teams in the playoffs was a win for the NFL. We'd be remiss to not think that those things were related to how everything turned out. And it was awesome, man. It was a great season. The Super Bowl lived up to the hype. I think more than lived up to the hype. I think some of it might have been underhyped. But it was excellent, man. And now we can go back to not watching the Winter Olympics for another week.
Right.
I don't know. Seriously, is anyone watching the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I don't know. Great game. Fun to do the halftime show again. We all smoke good cigars. We've got Smoking Tobacco coming up this Thursday. The guest is Juan Lopez, right?
That's correct.
I'm going to be on the show this Thursday. Juan, he's a good
That's
man, a good friend.
Good. He's a really good guest too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, and that's going to be great. And I've got some opinions on some things that I'll probably stir the pot with on Thursday, so that'll be fun. I'll be coming in hot. Coop, what do you got going on this week?
So we have tomorrow on Jukebox. We're doing our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame pregame show. We're going to be reviewing the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then on Thursday night, when you're done with Smoking Tobacco, you can tune in to Primetime, episode 220. The guest is Daniel Marshall. And it's probably the biggest giveaway we've ever done. We have some really high-end Daniel Marshall luxury products we're giving away, including humidors, gold cutters, and even the Carlito Daniel Marshall cigar. So Daniel's bringing a lot of good stuff, but it's the first time I'm interviewing Daniel, and I'm very excited about this.
Well, that'll be awesome. I'm going to be, I got Valentine's Day tomorrow, taking my wife out to dinner. It'll be our first Valentine's Day with little baby Autumn. So that's going to be a good time. We're going to Disney World tomorrow night for dinner. And I'll be on the show on Thursday, and we'll tune in to Daniel Marshall. And the Golden Spoon winner won the chili contest. So
congratulations.
There you go.
But thanks for everyone. We got the Super Bowl next year in Arizona. So these special football editions going back to Arizona. This year's was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great cigar.
Great cigar.
Yeah,
great cigar.
Really liked it. Fortunately, my guests didn't take too many with me, but with them at the way out, I have about a box left, which is nice. But
is it the same stadium as 49?
Yeah, Glendale. Yeah. So that'll be awesome. We do a lot of stuff out there, so we'll get started and looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to jumping online and seeing what the Rams are smoking tonight. But man, what a good game! What a great Super Bowl! Fun hanging out and doing the halftime show and the post game. And we'll see everybody on Thursday.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you,
guys. Thanks.